Today's tutor is Curtis Holder, who won his Portrait Artist of the Year heat with a remarkable drawing of late drag queen, the Vivienne.
Wow, Curtis's drawing of the Vivienne, I mean, it's monumental, and he's found the perfect form for the Vivienne in this vertical. It's not something one sees every day.
At the semi-final, his depiction of award-winning author Bernardine Evaristo continued to impress us.
It's performative, what he does. It's about his body in relationship to the sitter's body. It's a kind of conjuring.
And earned him a place in the final.
What just happened?
There, his commissioned piece of partnered Steve and pet dog Freddie, along with his drawing of writer and performer Eddie Izzard, saw him become Portrait Artist of the Year 2020.
Curtis Holder.
Curtis, yeah, Curtis. What a genius, man. Curtis does something which I've never seen before, and that is basically it.
For his winning commission, Curtis painted director and ballet dancer Carlos Acosta for the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery.
I can't wait any longer.
Let's do it.
Wow. This is... Wow. Thank you.
Curtis takes inspiration from intimate conversations with the people he draws to produce insightful portraits, making him the perfect tutor for today's masterclass, Connecting with Your Sitter.
Today is about getting to know your sitter. We're going to do some preliminary drawings that will help you loosen up and hopefully dispel the demons of fear that people get when starting a drawing. Essential for this particular lesson is our model. And we have one here, Jarvis, who I've met once before. So predominantly, we're getting to know our sitter, helping them relax and helping you relax and have some fun. The first exercise we're going to do is called blind drawing. And as the name suggests, there's going to be an aspect of this drawing that we are not going to see. Now, practically, it helps you loosen up. And this one is a good one to just expel all of those feelings of perfection. So what's going to happen is I'm going to spend my time just looking at my model. I'm not going to look at my paper, although I'm going to draw. I'm just going to be looking at my model. And this is a time for you to converse, have a little chit-chat, and then you just get something down on paper that you can both have a laugh at afterwards, because it's going to be pretty ridiculous. So for this one, I'm going to use one of my sketchbooks, but the paper and the quality at this stage doesn't really matter. I would just use any scrap paper you have around the house. Could be the photocopier, it could be, you know, a bill that you don't want to look at anymore. Just flip that over and do a blind drawing on it. That's what I'd do. So what we need for this, what I would suggest you go for is a primary colour to start off with. It's bright, it's bold, and you can see it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to map all of you. I'm going to get as much detail as I possibly can, but I'm just going to look at you. Now, this drawing is going to be quite hilarious. Don't worry, it won't look anything like you. Or maybe it will, I don't know.
But we'll have to just see.
We'll just have to see. I'm curious. I always ask this of people. What's it like what's it like being a 19-year-old now?
I think that's quite a good question because I feel like my generation specifically, like we were some of the last to experience life before like technology really like boomed. Like the children we have now is so different. It's all like media is everywhere and it's just not as much of a like a connection with the world, it feels.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like if we're talking like in the present, there's so many opportunities for young people now. There's so much happening. So to be 19 is, I'm hopeful.
And you can see that in the way you're sitting. The way you're sitting is very open and it's very inviting and it's very relaxed. And it's things like this that I would like to focus on and bring out in a drawing. I'm really I'm really impressed by this one. I'm going to show it to you.
Oh, wow.
I know. Bonkers, eh?
Bonkers.
It is bonkers. But can you see a little bit of yourself in there?
I actually can.
What I might do is I might do another one, but then pull back the scale again. But because it's a blind drawing, I'm feeling my way. So maybe instead of drawing as I did with the first one from my elbow, really hone it in a bit and maybe draw a bit more from the wrist for this one. Have you ever been drawn before?
I've been painted, but I didn't sit for it though. It was from a photo.
Oh, it's from a photo.
Yeah, so this is the first for me.
Oh.
I've drawn other people.
Okay.
Like I've made people sit for me.
Oh, so you know what it's like.
Yeah. But I've never been drawn like from a live drawing.
Okay. Say I went on to do a bigger drawing and a more in-depth drawing. What would you want that drawing to say about you?
There's no way of predicting that or like saying how I want to be because I'm not in control of that. Someone will see a painting of me and they could see anything. All I hope is that they'll be interested by what they see.
Okay.
Whether that's they feel like kindness or they feel inspired or whatever, like I don't mind because I can never be in control of that. But I just hope that it intrigues them.
All of these things we can feed into a drawing, and some artists will have very specific ideas of what they want and what they see in that person. But for me, I think the drawing, the eventual image is a real collaboration and conversation about what we both want.
I think that's a great way to put it, like how the painting or the outcome is a conversation, especially when it's like within a dialogue between the sitter and a painter. That's exactly what it is. It's just a visual conversation, which I think is even more interesting.
You said you've been drawn before and you've actually drawn as well.
Yeah.
What's your work like?
At the moment, I do sculpture,
Brilliant.
which I'm really enjoying.
So you love the three-dimensional.
I love like feeling what I'm making. I feel like when I'm doing a painting, it's good and it's like satisfying in a way because like you can like add depth and it's flat, but it's not flat because you're like making it 3D. But it's quite tedious for me.
Ah, okay.
And
You're more excited by...
I like making what I see in my mind and I can make that with my hands and like that can just happen rather than like I can visualize something but I have to like do like a base layer and then like build it and build it and build it. For me, like I like it's like instant gratification.
There's nothing wrong with that. Do you know what? I'm actually quite impressed with this. Probably the best blind drawing I've done. And again, I think that's down to the sitter who has engaged me and really helped me, actually, weirdly, not to focus on the drawing. And I'm just going to show a comparison here. So the first drawing, you've got lines, you've got form. Even though it doesn't look like a person, there's a suggestion of me wandering around and investigating what Jarvis looks like. And then I saw that I wasn't getting all of him. I wasn't getting everything. So this next drawing, I reduced my range, made it a little bit tighter, so I could fit as much of Jarvis on there as possible. So that's how those two are different, and that's how you can assess even if it's a blind drawing, you can assess what it is you need from the overall composition and adjust the way you draw to get what you want on the paper. Even if you're not looking at it, you can still do that. The next thing is going to be an exercise, again, in looking, but this time you'll be happy to know that I'm gonna let you look at your paper this time, which may or may not be a bonus, because what I'll say to you is pick up your pencil, ready to go. And then I'm gonna, unfortunately, ask you to swap your pencil round to the hand that you don't usually draw with. I know you hate me, but so, c'est la vie. You know, no pain, no gain. So, that's what you're gonna do. And don't cheat. You're gonna use your non-dominant hand. I'm gonna have to have a little switch around. I'm not gonna use this board because this is set up for me drawing with my right hand. And for this, you're going to use your other hand. Well, whatever that be, you know, right or left. From our previous drawings, I've started to get a better idea of the composition that I really like when I'm looking at Jarvis. And that is a combination of what I like, but also a combination of how Jarvis sits naturally. This is where you kind of start to make decisions about what it is you really want to focus on, what's saying all those brilliant things about Jarvis, but maybe a bit more compact. You're a man that likes jewelry.
Yes.
I love that. I see it more as just a decorative object, but I find people who wear multiple bits of jewelry, they mean something more. Are you one of those people?
I'd say, yeah. I think it's such a special thing, like jewelry or any form of self-expression, but like when you put on clothes or jewelry, it feels like you're really appreciating yourself and your body, and you appreciate the way you present to the world. And I think that's just really important and special.
Yeah. It's those stories, those particular and special stories about that particular sitter are what's going to inform your drawing. It's what's going to make that drawing interesting and that drawing really unique to the relationship that you and your sitter have. Right, okay. So left-hand drawing is always a source of merriment, but 'tis what it is.
Oh my God. That is so good.
You're very kind. But what I love about it is this bit here.
Yeah.
Is because you moved around, and I think when you're doing this kind of drawing, it's not that important that your model is stock still.
I love the two faces, and I like how clear the figure and pose is.
This is the product of drawing with your non-dominant hand. It takes away the control that you usually have with your pencil, but I think that lack of control focuses your ability to actually look at what you're drawing, and also it takes away from that feeling of it being precious. So it gives you a bit of joy, and it's playful, and it has you in the moment, but also you start to make marks that you wouldn't have made if you were in control. And some of those marks are really some of the magical marks. And what's really lovely about drawing like this, it takes the pressure off the model being perfectly still, because you can use that in the drawing. If the model moves, just keep drawing. And it gives a nice sense of movement, but also you're creating lines that are really unpredictable.
You can sit down there.
What we're going to do now is a little bit of a contour drawing. Instead of focusing on detail, we're simply just going to look at the outline. We're just going to look at Jarvis's outline. And I've got a little gadget here that I think if you're a beginner, it really helps. Now, here's one I made earlier. It's this here, just a piece of acetate, and I've cut a hole in one of those hard-backed envelopes, and you slip the acetate in, and you've got a little window into life. But it's kind of stiff, and so it's not flopping around everywhere. Get yourself a marker, this is just an ordinary whiteboard marker. And then what I would do is I would just close one eye and simply trace round my subject. Tracing just around Jarvis's outline. So here you can see I've just drawn around the outside of him. But what it really does is it gives you a truer sense of the proportions and the shapes that you're looking at. Because I know that sometimes I tend to do the head a little bit too big. But here you can see, actually, in comparison to his knee, his head is really quite small. And this little gadget really can help you figure out really basic proportions early on. Okay, so now we're going to do the final exercise. For this one, what I need to do, I need to quickly look at Jarvis. I need to think about what colours I'm going to use, and I'm also going to use pencil with this one. So remember all those things that we were talking about, which was being loose and playful, not worrying too much about the line, not worrying about staying in the line. We're still trying to remember all the things that we talked about with Jarvis, his openness and his love of art, his love of experimenting. So his expectations of what we're going to draw are going to be quite open. So let's start. I'm going to start the head and the face, because that's the part of Jarvis that I find the most interesting. So I am focusing in on the hands, but really just the shape of the hands, because at this moment in time, it's not really important to get the detail of those hands in. Maybe if we do another piece, then we'll make that our priority. But right now, we're just trying to get the essence of who Jarvis is and our conversation. He does move his hands, which isn't a problem, because as we've already seen, if you make a line that isn't the line that you want at that precise minute, then do another line that is the line that you want. Right, I think we're now finished. And because of our conversation, and I think it went really well,
Same.
it's enabled me to bring out certain aspects of your personality. I think the jewelry is really important to you and how you show yourself and how you present. But I think this is a good conclusion, I think. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
You're
Curtis.
amazing. Hopefully you've been able to see how important it is to have that connection with your sitter. And I've shown you some techniques for you to go away and try them yourself at home.
If you'd like to find out more about these masterclasses, go to our website skyartsartistoftheyear.tv.